Is there self-awareness inside the White House for the danger John Bolton poses, not just for the next couple of days, elongating, extending the process, but poses to the presidency?
There both is and there isn't. When those bombshell disclosures in his book, the manuscript that was given to the White House, first came out in the news on Sunday, there was a growing sense of unease and anxiety and frustration. You had the president's lawyers telling allies and senators on Capitol Hill that they didn't know about this far in advance, that they too were frustrated, that they might have gone with a different strategy. And there were sort of frenzied discussions Sunday night and Monday morning about if, in fact, they should change their strategy. But I go back to something a senior Republican official told me for a story I was reporting, and this is something that everyone, despite the understanding of what Bolton's manuscript potentially means, takes solace in. And they sort of likened these new disclosures to a boat on choppy waters and said, look, it may be unpleasant, but it's very unlikely to be fatal. So yes, will there be some seasickness? Will it not be fun? Sure. But chances are no one is going to die. And by that, they mean they still believe that the fundamentals don't change and the president will be acquitted.
Kimberly, tonight in South Jersey, the president ran through his familiar greatest hits. Mexico's paying for the wall. He referred to his predecessor as Barack Hussein Obama. He talked about draining the swamp. But a kind of a new look since impeachment, relatively little on impeachment. Does that indicate anything to you as someone who covers this place?
Yeah, look, this is something that he's clearly not happy about. He's not happy that he is a president who is currently being impeached, whose impeachment trial is ongoing. That's the last thing that he's going to want to talk about, except to the extent that he wants to use his political adversaries from that impeachment to blast and insult them. He tends to do that more on Twitter. We see him talking about the impeachment managers and other people, and even some Republicans if he doesn't think they're expressing enough fealty toward him. But this is where he wants to be. The campaign trail is sort of where he has always taken solace. He likes being up in front of that crowd, and he's going to keep delivering those greatest hits as he goes into 2020 because he thinks that that's the same message that is going to protect him with the voters. And that's also what's protecting him with senators, Republican senators. You know, he used to say that he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and he wouldn't lose any votes. It appears that he can stand on Fifth Avenue and say, I did a quid pro quo. And for the most part, he's not going to lose the solid Republican support that he has in the Senate right now.
Jeremy Bash, let's talk about the Democrats. Where does their muscle come from to be able to speak with some strength against the idea of what's been called a hostage exchange, a witness for witness swap? And is their strength coming from the notion that at the end of the day, Republicans will stop and do a gut check before voting to call either Biden or Adam Schiff across the aisle to do a deposition and testify?
Well, I think the strength of their argument really comes from the concept of relevance. We're in a trial. We're trying to determine what evidence is relevant to determine the president's guilt or innocence on the charges of high crimes and misdemeanors. And they can try to call all manner of individuals who don't have firsthand knowledge or even secondhand knowledge of whether the president used his office to shake down the president of Ukraine or whether he withheld military assistance as Ukraine fought Russia. Now, they can try to call someone like Hunter Biden. But again, this trial is not about whether or not adult children of politicians leverage their parents' last name. Because if that were the case, we'd be calling Eric Trump and Donald Jr. and a whole host of other Trumps who do that very same thing. And I don't think that's what Senate Republicans want. And frankly, I don't think it's relevant to the ultimate question of guilt or innocence by President Trump.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.